Hello everyone. So today I am going to show you something about Windows DLL hijacking. But before we go there, I'll show you the setup that I have. I have two Windows machines running on VMware Workstation. You can use VirtualBox or Workstation, doesn't really matter. But you will need basically two machines, or even one machine is fine if you want to do it with one machine. One I have Commando VM here. This is for my exploitation or the attacker machine, and the one that I am going to exploit is this other machine. I have done a RDP from this machine, so that it is easier for me to record. But I will still go ahead and show you the setup how I have done this. So first that you need to do is go to this mandate commando VM GitHub page. This is where you will find the script for installing the commando VM. The steps are pretty simple since it is expected that you will have a lot of tools which will be caught by Defender. So first thing you will have to do is disable Defender. You don't want Defender to stop all the tools from being caught by Defender and hence not being installed, right? So they have given very good instructions on how to do it. You just don't need to disable it just from the Windows security, but you also need to disable in GP edit so that it doesn't start automatically. They have given all the steps of what you need to do here in the pre-install procedures. Once you have done the pre-install procedure, you can go ahead and do the standard install. I am not going to show this in a video because this takes couple of hours. For me, it take about 3.5, 4 hours. So I am not going to show this, but it's very straightforward. All you need to do is download this install.ps1, which is just here in this repo. You can just download this file install.ps1 that you can see here, and then once you have downloaded it, you just need to unblock it, execution policy to unrestricted, and install ps1. Once this is done, your VM will probably reboot for a couple of times, and once it has done everything, you will see that your wallpaper will change to Commando VM wallpaper, and that is the sign that your Commando VM installation is completed. The other thing that we need is basically exploitable VM, where we will have various simulations for various attacks that we are going to do on the Windows machine. So for this, I am going to use the LP workshop from Sagi Saher repo. Again, you can note down this URL and go to this repo. Here you can see that there is a LP Windows setup.bat. All that you need to do is run this script and it will automatically set this up. This is not going to take a lot of time. This will hardly take 5 minutes to do this. Again, the instructions are very clear. All you need to do is basically ensure that there is no user called as user when you start the script, because the script is going to create a user with the name of a user. So if you have that user, delete it and then just start the script. Within 5-10 minutes you will have a VM where you will have some issues which you can play around with. With these two out of the way, if you go and look at the tools for exercises, it's basically a share from a iCloud drive, but you don't really need it unless you are planning to follow the workshop slides, or you want to follow exactly the lab guides. Either on in those cases as well, you don't really need to download this folder from someone else's iCloud if you don't want to do so, because all these tools are available on GitHub or from other places if you just quickly do a Google. The other few things that we are going to use for this are two other tools that I will show you, which are not mentioned in this repo or are not available in the tools that you can download from Sagiside iCloud thing. Okay, so one of them is this robber. This is an open source tool developed to find binaries which allow you for DLL hijacking. We'll use this tool to see if we can find the binary which will allow us to do hijacking. And of course, the famous linkeys or winpies or what now is called as PsNG. You can just go to PsNG. This has both linpays and winpies. We will be using winpies since we are on Windows. And then just head over to releases and download the WinPs. I have downloaded the WinPs any. This works better in my opinion. It is able to run most versions of Windows, so I generally download this WinPs any. But you can feel free to download any of these according to the architecture. So now with this, you should have basically two Windows boxes. One which is acting as Commando VM, the other which is acting as the lab machine where you have all the issues simulated and you can get into basically finding those issues and exploiting. Right. Uh, with that out of the way, we will first run WinPs. Again, WinPs is going to take some time, so I have already done that, and I have put the output of WinPs in a log file that I am going to open with you, and then we are going to look at it. The other tool that I mentioned is the robber tool. You just download the exe and run it, and this is what you get. So once you are there, you can just go to this PC, local files, program files, and since I know it is DLL hijacking service, I am just going to run it on this folder, but you can run it on the whole program files folder if you want to, or on the whole C drive as such, which is again going to take a long time. But since we know it is in this folder, or at least I know, so I'll use this and start this, right? And then just scan. Uh, it basically still doesn't find anything. You can try various other things here. You can try all and sign state is any, um, and then scan, but it doesn't find anything. But it's okay. DLL hijacking is not something that you are going to find very quickly and easily, and it's not something that is explained very well, in my opinion, in a lot of sites where you will find this to be explained. But anyway, let's get into the WinP's output and open it with Notepad. Okay. So here we are first going to look for the services. So again, I'll just search for hijack since I know that is the name of the service. But ideally, you would be looking at the output of WinPs for every service that you might be interested in, right? So you will basically go to the services information where it will list all the services which are interesting from WinP's perspective, and they are interesting because they are not Microsoft service, which is where probably you want to start with. Most of the time, Microsoft services is not something that you would exactly find on a CTF environment or when you are doing a pen test, unless you want to find a 0-day. So if we look into the services information, we can see that it mentions about this service, which is DLL hijack service. This is residing in C colon program files, DLL hijack service, DLL hijack service.txt, and this is what we are interested in. Right now, we don't know that this service can be abused with DLL hijack exploit, but we will soon find out. Right? Okay, so first thing that you want to quickly do is check the details of the service. So you can just say sc. I am in PowerShell here, so I have to use sc.exe. Otherwise, it will not show me the details. But if you are in a command prompt, you can just say sc without .exe, and then you use qc, which is query config, and then the name of the service, which is DLL in this case. So here we can see that again it shows us the binary path name, program files, DLL hijack service, DLL hijack service.exe. Display name is DLL hijack service, and service type name is local system. That's all we need to know right now. This user has start and stop permissions for this service. We'll get into those queries sometime later. Today, I would just like to show you how to basically find out DLL hijacking, right? So we will not get into anything else. Now, once you have all this information ready, what you want to do is start Procmon. So we will do that. Rather, I can go to desktop, tools, and process monitor, Procmon, agree. Okay. Okay. So this is Procmon running. Don't get intimidated. It will start showing immediately a lot of events, really a lot of events. If you really don't want to see all of those, you can disable registry. We are not interested in registry, so we can disable it. File system, we are interested. Network, we are not interested. We can remove it. And show process and thread activity, we can keep it. That's fine. But we actually want to use this to our advantage. And right now in this state, it is not really useful because you can see it is already generated about 400k events and it is showing 13k events. So looking for something in 13k events is not an easy task, correct? So we will see how we can better utilize this tool. So what you really want to do is when you are using Procmon or process monitor as it is mostly called, uh, click on this filter or Control L. This will bring this process monitor filter, and this is a very powerful thing in process monitor. Without this, you will probably be not able to do much. And this is where you can basically do a filter on a lot of things. Right now we are interested in process name, so I'll select process name is, and we already saw the process name, right? DLL hijack service.exe from the SC output. So we will just copy this and we'll paste it here. So once you select this, it should basically show it like this. Process name is DLL hijack service.exe. Action is include. Now, DLL hijack service is a interesting concept in its own. The way Windows loads any DLL is it starts looking into a variety of folders depending on what is your path variable set to, and some internal paths that Windows will always look for along with the current folder. You can look that up in a lot of blog posts. I'll not really go into any of those too much. But what you now want to do is when this binary runs, you want to figure out if there are any DLLs which it is trying to load, and if it is not finding it in certain path, do you have a path? Do you have permissions to write into that folder? What I mean by that is, let me show you. So let's say that this binary.exe is trying to load DLL called as a.dll. So when it is trying to load this DLL, it will have to start looking into various paths. So it will basically, let's say, start with path A, It will try to find this DLL there. It will not find it. Then it will go into path B. It will try to see if the DLL is there. If it is not there, then it will go into path C and so on and so forth until it finds a path where the DLL exists, and then it will load. Now, while I was explaining this, you would have already realized that if it does not exist in ABC and rather it existed in D, but you had write permissions to folder B, then you can always create this DLL here, and the bin a.exe will actually load the DLL from path B rather than going up to D, right? Because it already found it here. It will not continue anymore, and it will stop there and load your DLL. This is what the whole concept of DLL hijack is. Now, if you know that the binary has a DLL hijack, then probably it is easier to find. But if you don't know, then it's not such an easy task to find, as you would have already realized. But process monitor is a tool which will make it it will make it easy for us to find it if we know what we are doing. So what we want to do now is that when the result is file not found, so when the result contains, I'll select contains here and not found here. We are not interested in all the events where the binary found the DLL, right? We are already interested in the events where the binary was trying to load a DLL and it started querying the file system for path A, B, C, D, and E, F, and so on and so forth. Now, when you are looking at all this, you don't really care about when the DLL was found. What you care about is when the DLL was not found. And if any of those paths are of interest to you, are you able to write to it? And if you are able to write to it, can you probably escalate your privileges vertically or laterally, whatever, right? So if there are 5 users, can you move from user A to user B or user C or user D? Or can you move from user A to administrator user? Either of those has its own value add in any penetration test. So if you are able to achieve either of those, it's a win-win situation for you, right? So now these are the two filters that we have put in process monitor. One is DLL hijack.service, service.exe is the process name, and the result contains not found. We will say apply, okay, and suddenly you will see that everything has vanished from this window, and that is because both the conditions were not matched with any of the events that were present in this window. Now that we have done this and we have set up process monitor for ourselves, let's go to a terminal and try to start this service. SC start, we know that name of the service is DLL SVC. Okay. Have we done something wrong? Must be. Let's remove this result part and see. It still doesn't show anything. So let's keep this result and remove this process name and see. We should basically start seeing a lot of messages, but what we are interested in would be somewhere at the end, and then we can okay, so path process name. What is the process name? We can search a path. That will be easier because we know the path. So rather than process name, we will probably say path. Path is the whole path of the binary, but we can use the partial path and say this contains this, which basically should filter out the results that we are interested in. So instead of process name, we can use path contains DLL hijack service.exe. We know that from the service query, right? So let's use that. And result contains not found. Uh, let's again start the service once more, or probably it is already running. So let's stop it once and then start. Okay, sorry, I just realized my mistake. I was doing SC start, it should be the net start. So let's do this again. We will first stop it if it is just running in case, and then we will do a DLL net start. I still have the same filters that we were using, which is the path contains the name of the exe, and I have disabled result. We can enable the results, and that's okay. And let it be there. We don't have many. Name not found. Okay. But we are interested in file not found. Let's start DLL service. Stop DLL service. Okay, this looks better. Okay, now we know the process name. Let's use the process name now. We want not found results, and process name is process name is DLL hijack. Process name contains. Add it. Okay. Okay. Path not found. Now we are getting the path not found and name not found both. So these are the events that we are interested in. Once we filter it based on the process name, we have started seeing all the name not found and file not found issues. So just to show you again, filter we are doing filter on process name contains DLL hijack, and on result contains not found. Now once we have the results, we have tried to stop and start the service once, and now we are interested to see if there are any paths from which the DLLs are getting loaded. And here we can see that it is starting to try, it is trying to load a DLL called as hijackme.dll. So we are interested to basically see where all it is trying to search for this, right? Program files DLL hijack service. We can put it there if we have permissions to write there, but we will go with the assumptions that right now we are not administrator and just a regular user. Then it is looking in Windows System 32. Windows System 32, then it is looking in Windows System 32, WBEM, so on and so forth, program data. Um, we can see that now it is looking into the other users folder. So if I look at my username, it is user, right? The other user that I have on this system is Amit AG, which is where it is trying to look for. But this one is interested. It is looking into ctemp hijackme.dll, and we know that everyone has permission to write into c:/temp, right? Which means that if I put hijackme.dll here, then I should be able to load it. Now remember, I was showing you that ABCDEF thing, right? So until it finds it, it will keep looking. So if we have a name not found here, which means that till this path he has actually not found the DLL, which means that even if we put it here, it should ideally work. Okay, now we know the DLL name that we want to use is hijackme.dll, and we want to put it in c:/temp. That's good enough for us. We don't need Procmon for anything else. Now let's copy this and go to temp. Now we need to create the DLL. What we are going to do is quickly, I have this from the tools folder that I was showing you earlier from the LP workshop. It is basically doing a include windows.h win API DLL main. This is the main function which is called when you are loading a DLL. Now here all we are doing is, if it is doing a DLL process attach, we are running the system command, and here we are running whoami and putting it there. Instead of this, what we can do is net user. Let's see what all users are there. Okay, there are only 6 users. Amit AG user are the additional ones. I will probably add Amit here and have a password of hacker101, this, and /add. Okay. I can do anything here. I can basically, if required, I can even put a reverse shell back to myself, or I can add it to local administration administrator, whatever I want to do, because I now am able to run a command.exe, right? Once we have saved this, we will need to compile this. So I will do a choco install mingw on this. I have already installed choco on this. If you don't know how to install choco, you can again search for choco, and you will be able to find that. I'll again not go into these. These are things that you should be able to find very easily on Google, so I'll not go there. But we need a GCC here, so we will do choco install mingw. This should hardly take a minute to run. Now while that is happening, we can go to temp, and we can see that we have the hijackme.c. Type hijackme.c. Again, this is what we wanted. Also, it mentions what we want to do for x86, 64, and both of them, right? So we'll just wait for this to get installed, and while that happens, I also want to open command prompt. I'll show you why in a minute, but we will just keep a command prompt ready. It's nearly done, and I can check whether it is present or not. It is not. I can open a new PowerShell window and see. It's still not completed installing it, so we'll have to wait for a minute. Okay. So now I guess it is there. Yes. So GCC, we want to compile hijack.c. We want to make it a shared library and make it output file should be a hijackme.dll. Okay. So if you see, there is no output here. So let's see if when DLL is created, and interestingly, you will see that the DLL is not created here, which is a problem. Now let's try the same thing in a command prompt. That's why I opened the command prompt, because I knew that we are going to have this problem. And if we run a GCC, same command basically, right? So you can just copy paste this from here. You will get this error lib wi input thread 1.dll, and the way to resolve this is basically go here, and I need to see the name of that again. Libwin pthread. Search for libwin pthread -1.dll. Okay, this is the error we are getting, so we will just quickly search for this. And what we also want to do is, once this is done, then we want to edit in environment variables. So we will go to edit system environment variables. Go to environment variables. We want to add it in our path. Once we exactly find out the path where that DLL is. So we'll have to just give it a moment to find the libwin pthread 1.dll. It should be in the mingw folder, somewhere in program data or program files, one of those folders. I don't remember exactly which one, so we'll have to wait for this search to finish, which should again not take a lot of time. But once this is done, we are pretty much close to getting what we want to do. Now all we want to do is basically compile this hijackme.c into hijackme.dll, and once this compilation is done, we can in the meantime, let me do DLL SVC stop, so that when we try to start it, it actually works, right? And just to reconfirm, you can again see that net user doesn't show any user called Amit, whereas when we see the C program, it is basically creating a user called Amit. So we will know that our exploit works if we are able to create user Amit by starting the service, DLL service. Okay, so this need not, as you would have again guessed, this need not be just in a service, right? It could be in a binary, it could be in anything. And if you find it in application, and you also find a writable folder, then you can in the writable folder create a malicious DLL, and when the user executes that specific application, you can execute whatever you want to. So this could be a very useful technique for lateral movement or for privilege escalation. I'll not have you wait through all this. I will quickly by editing. Okay, so we found the file. This is the search results, and If you go to the open file folders location, this is where you will finally find it. I'll just copy this, put it in my path, add it, okay, okay, and okay. I need to probably restart my terminal. So I'll close this, open a new command window again, cd/emp temp gcc hijack me.c minus shared minus o hijack me.dll. Okay. Now if we see, we should have the hijack me.dll. Okay. This is what we wanted. We are able to create a malicious DLL which is going to create user when we start the service. And just to refresh, uh, we have only two normal users here, user and Amit AG. Guest and administrator are default accounts, default account, and WDAG utility account is also a default account. With all this in mind, we have already found that the service that we are interested in is DLL SVC. We know that when we start the service, it is looking for hijackme.dll and c:/temp, and all that we should now need to do is sc start DLL SVC. And if we see net user, it still doesn't have it. But that's okay. Let's also give static here and try to create a static hijackme.dll. The size of this probably will be a little larger than earlier, but that's okay. And we should be able to do sc stop and sc start. Net user. Let's open Procon again and see what is going on. Is it getting loaded or not? Or rather, let's first create a, instead of shared, notepad hijackme.c minus shared should be good. Let's try with the 64-bit compilation command that they have given. Ideally GCC and this should be same, but let's try with this. hijackme.c. This should be DLL and the first one should be C. This is the name of the file that we want to compile. So hijackme.c minus shared minus o hijackme.dll. Okay. 46015, same size, so I don't see a reason it should be any different. Okay. Let's verify this once again. We have closed the notepad, but we can open it again. cmd.txt/gain net user Amit. Let's change this password a little bit. This will be fine. Should not matter. This should be fine. Okay. Also, type hijackme.c. We are adding user Amit, and Amit is not there. We'll stop. And then we will start the service. Let's see. DLL okay. I am making a big mistake here. I should be doing a net start and DLL which I was doing earlier as well. This is already started, so I should stop it first and then I should do a net start. This looks good. This is taking some time. While it is doing all that, we can check net user, and there we go. We have the user on it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I could have removed all the issues that I was facing while doing the exploitation, but I wanted to show you that it's not a simple and straightforward exploit that works out of the box, and uh, you have to really try again. You could make multiple mistakes, and you need to ensure that you keep trying to ensure that you are able to succeed. Uh, so I just wanted to also show you how I try to look at the uh, try to solve the problems when I am running into problems. Hence, I did not remove any of the struggle that I was doing while uh, creating this video. Hope you enjoyed.